our government's ability to arbitrarily detain and torture a huge percentage of people. The health minister says it's 40%. So 40% of the Australian population gets diagnosed as mentally ill. Now, for the starters, all right, that's insulting to Australians. It's saying in Australia, you know, their mentality, nearly 50% of Australians, 50%, nearly 50, well, that's 40 according to the health minister, but who knows? But nearly half of them, their mentality is totally ill. I mean, that just doesn't sound good for one thing. Another thing is while a health minister is doing this spiel that comes straight from, it's like Medicines Australia and the pharmaceutical companies that run that peak body wrote his speech, because basically there's a platform where you can go and read what Medicines Australia want, and pretty much what the health minister has said is a straight rip from what Medicines Australia says. Now, I don't think Medicines Australia is going to go to the health minister and go, health minister, excuse me, I think you plagiarized us. No. I think they're quite pleased that the health minister is reiterating their want to procure more healthy human specimens that they can use. Because that's right, people who are mentally ill generally have a good physical health. Now, you want to call a person's mentality ill. Okay, so this is a perception thing, right? You want to say, okay, that person who's really upset about things is ill. Well, if they even got a roof over their head, or they're hungry, or someone has just ganged up on them and, verbally abused them, of course they're upset. And then you want to, without even knowing all that, and even if they try and explain all that, in come the psychiatrists and the researchers who back them, we give all the money, flow the money to them and to the ministers, the parties that get sponsored by these, not only the pharmaceutical companies, but Medicines Australia and every other peak medical body. Oh yes, it's a big, powerful lobby. Yes, with a big money in it, big money, corruption is what's happening there. It's bribery. It's not as though they're lobbying for anything decent. They're lobbying to procure fresh human specimens, a greater percentage of the population than the 40% that they're already getting. They should not be getting any human specimens. Why are you turning us into specimens? I mean, at least, I feel that humans, when humans get used as a laboratory for laboratory tests and so forth, they want to call it healthcare, and they want to call it they want to call it protection and all these sort of terms that are they're just not saying what it is. So on top of being given a label and tortured with the various procedures and chemicals and whatnot they want to test on a person, along with that, the population is saying, oh no, that just doesn't happen. They only do that to animals. And, you know, the animal activists are out there. Fair enough, you know, it was good. You know, they're voiceless, you know, they, you know, they can't be, you know, heard. So we're going to give them a voice, yeah. And yeah, I don't think these fucking awful chemicals should be tested on animals either. I mean, you hear the people talk about human research in the mainstream media. And the way that they, oh, it has to be done, it has to be done. What good has come out of human research? Or everything they do is benevolent. And if they do anything wrong, oh, they need more funding. Well, you don't want to give them more funding, because they'll just get worse and worse, as they have. And to actually think that we want to have a society that is based around medical language and medical paradigm, I just think that's utterly disgusting. I find their whole way of thinking just totally ugly. Totally ugly line of thinking. I think it goes utterly nowhere, and it's pointless. Because you can't fight viruses and bacteria and that sort of thing. You can only do it for a short while. And plants are better at creating assistance to humans to do that than humans are, really. When humans do it, they fuck it up. Because they just get hell-bent on this idea of success and money and what ultimately is that? I mean, it doesn't look too pretty in history. I mean, people dress it up. They do. They make, you know, put these evildoers around the place in statues and so forth. And they try to vilify the victims as well. But ultimately, the fucking evildoers are fucking evildoers. And as far as I'm concerned, pretty much the whole medical industry, they're just fucking vampires. Cannibalistic fucking vampires. And they should fuck off. Fuck the hell off. They should not have a government handshake where they can just take somebody and inject them with their toxins or electrocute them or hold them in arbitrary detention. They just should not be allowed to do that. And as far as I'm concerned, if a person bites and tries to stop the psychiatrist, from injuring them, from harming them, from injecting them with these poisons or electrocuting them, then that person should have a right to self-defense. They shouldn't be dragged into some kangaroo court? Yeah, some whitecoat prick of a court to say that now they're going to be criminalised for self-defence, and they're not even allowed to give themselves self-defence because they're not able. And who says they're not able? Well, the torturer says that they don't like the way the person sits, stands, speaks, their attitude, that they displease the torturer, they don't kiss ass enough. I mean, get stuffed. Okay. So what I want all these mental health acts just knocked out, gone. They should not be there. They are exploitation acts. And we want to stop this exploitation, this vile, cruel, disgusting exploitation, and start getting some reparations happening. But the first reparation that can happen is assurance to people who have been victims of this abuse and who are still being victimised or are under threat of it happening again, because everybody is really under threat. Some people don't even realise that they haven't been subjected to forced psychiatry. They don't realise it could happen to them one day. And some people know that all too well, and that threat is hanging there. So we don't want that. We don't want to be threatened by these nebulous laws that turn Australians into an ill kind of mentality.